Dr. Newton, MD, is a medical doctor known for his innovative healing and transformative methods, which have the underlying theme of healing transformations through inner awareness. Dr. Newton was born in 1969, the eldest son of his parents. He owes his unusual name to his father's passion for physics. Till date, Dr. Newton has conducted more than 1 lakh past life regression, individual and group. Those who underwent regression benefited in many areas of life. In the year 2000, he took an important step towards achieving his life purpose when he and Dr. Lakshmi founded Life Research Academy. Out of the various activities of the Life Research Academy, the core activities are past life regression, breath work, inner child work, family constellations, and spreading the message of a self-realized spiritual masters, spreading awareness about being vegan and teaching meditation. In 2010, he took another significant step when he launched the Association for Regression and Reincarnation Research, of which he is the founder president with its registered office at Banjara Hills, Hyderabad. The primary objective of this global association is to create awareness about reincarnation research and the beliefs of past life regression and future life progression. It will also strive to ensure the integration of past life regression into mainstream medical practice, which is a wonderful thing. His vision is to see every individual on this planet become an awakened being. To achieve this, he has been interacting with like-minded masters from all over the world. He's also nicknamed as high-tech guru or a laptop guru. Dr. Newton makes extreme use of the latest technology in his presentations and workshops. He has been conferred with various awards for his outstanding contribution to the field of spiritual sciences like Dhyana Ratna, Brahma Rishi Chakravarti, and he has written 3 books: The Science of Past Life Regression, The Science of Meditation, and The Consciousness Heals. Dr. Newton is a truly multi-dimensional personality. Humility and an ever-smiling face are his hallmarks, and he creates an unconditional and loving space wherever he goes. And today we are in the similar kind of space. Thank you so much, and we welcome you again, Dr. Newton. Over to
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, Kapilaji, for introducing me. Being a medical doctor, how come this crazy fellow stepped into spiritual path? So many actually called me crazy and mad, even my own family members, when I stepped into this path, so nobody, there was no really encouragement. They thought the whole medical college, because I was a meditator when I was a medical student, I met Brahmashri Pitamaha Patriji, my Guruji, in 1989. And in month of November, it's such a beautiful moments. I was born in a family where science is worshipped as the most revered, and it's like the only God that exists is science. Nothing else exists other than science. Science is really is a great more than a religion. Is That's what my father believed. That's what he taught me as a child. So I was an atheist by that's great to know that many the friends on similar journey like me. And as a child, I used to always, like science and physics is what is really in front of our eyes, and that's what I see. And my father named me as Newton because he's fond of scientists. Isaac Newton, he wanted me to be like an Isaac Newton. And it's a such a trauma for a child, in the school. For me, I have to live up to the standards of Isaac Newton. It's so hard for me. I was a failure in the school. I don't like science because it's so traumatic to remember all things. I was a failure in mathematics. I was poor in English, and I'm completely a failure. And it's my story. It's a story of an abandoned child. I was given to my grandmother. I felt so wounded away from my mother. and such a traumatic for a child, such a trauma. And I carried this kind of name trauma as well. And as a child, the name brought me so much of, like people used to be attracted. Oh, Newton, who is this Newton? And oh, someone came from England. Oh, are you related to Isaac Newton? So people used to always ask me, and teachers were expecting me to score very well in the school, but I was a failure. I must honestly say about my past. This was my background. When I reached to the teenage time, and my father one day brought one book. It's a novel. It's a kind of story book which he picked up from the railway platform, and he brought to the home. And I read that book. It's about a story of a bird which tries to find the meaning of life. The name of the book is Jonathan Livingston Seagull,
Oh,
authored
it's a
by Richard Bach. It's a
beautiful book.
beautiful book.
In
Yeah,
fact, it was one of the
once.
first books I read after
Mm,
SSY, and I loved that book. And then I found out Nina, my wife, that was one of her first books before. I mean, in her prior to marriage. Prior to marrying me, it was her first
oh,
inspirational book for her to
yeah,
start the Baggett brand itself. Beautiful,
excellent.
beautiful.
Yeah, that book changed my life. I can say Richard Bach was my first guru who
Wow.
stepped into my life in the form of this book. And that book has changed completely my thinking, my ideology. And this question entered into my mind, what's the meaning of my life? I want to become like a Jonathan who could find the meaning and purpose of life. This bird, seagull, this Livingston seagull, could find the meaning, and I would like to find the meaning of my life. And the quest began, and that time I was writing, there was an entrance exam for the medical entrance. So I got the first mark. After reading this book, something awakened in me. I was such a failure till 10th standard, and but in plus two, I really scored so well. I really put my all my efforts in securing the medical seat. I joined in a particular medical college, which is generally not opted for. I would have opted a different college because it's close to my hometown, but I joined in a particular college called Kurnool Medical College, where Patriji is located there in that place. So I must share about the synergy or synchronicities that occur in life, why I have chosen such places instead of some other place. So I joined in that medical college in 1987, where two synchronicities occurred. One is meeting Dr. Lakshmi, my classmate. She was my classmate,
Wow.
and she is like as crazy as me. And but completely opposite. I am an atheist, and she's a completely very devotional and highly, very simple and not talkative like other girls in the classroom. And somehow I was drawn and attracted to her.
Opposite
So she
attract, I
was,
said. Opposite
yeah,
attract.
yeah, exactly. So at that time, one day I met Brahmashri Pitama Patriji because I was traveling from my hometown to uh, my place in where I'm studying. I was studying Karnal Medical College. So in the bus, I used to smoke cigarettes. I had all the dirty habits at the time. So I was a chain smoker at that time and as a teenager. So after smoking the cigarette, I was eating the nut powder. And I shared the nut powder to the other passenger who is sitting by the side of me. And he was so impressed with the nut powder. He said, he was so friendly and he started speaking about meditation throughout the night. The whole bus traveling, almost 12 hours. We were speaking about meditation. He was explaining about experiences that we get in meditation, about third eye, about chakras, about purpose and reincarnation and all that. And I asked him, how did you know all these things? I never heard about meditation before. He said, there is a guru who taught this meditation to me. So I also, at this moment, pay my respects and gratitude to this friend. His name is Pelal Ramanjaneyulu. So he's such a friend, and I pestered him, you have to take me to that guru immediately. The moment we got down the bus, took the motorbike and went to my guru. And first meeting, I was having an impression he must be an old man and with a saffron robes and a kind of big beard and white beard and Rudraksha mala and all that. I was expecting all that. When I met Patriji, he's such a simple being with a jeans pant and t-shirt, no beard. He's very handsome. He's around 42 years old at the time, 1989. So, and he's also having a cigarette in his hands. I was so impressed with that scene. Oh, Guru can smoke a cigarette. Oh, that's impressive. And Guru need not have a beard. No need for these kashaya robes, saffron robes. Oh, this is very good. I felt my atheistic background and, meeting a Guru kind of person. And he looked into my eyes. He asked me, what is your background? He said, I don't have any background. My only background is I read this book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and I'm in search. I want to know the meaning of life. He said, I know all the answers for all your stupid questions, but I don't give you any answer. You have to find yourself all the answers in meditation. I will teach you the way and meditate for 3 hours every day for 40 days, he said. And that day, he made me to sit in meditation for 3 hours. First time. It was such a struggle. I thought it will be very easy to close the eyes and meditate. It was so terrible for me. My mind was going crazy. I thought it will be empty, but I was becoming insane. The Guru said to me, Patriji said, don't come to me and show your face for 40 days. Practice 3 hours meditation every day, and after 40 days completion, you can come and meet me. And I thought, I will do it because I have to meet him again. He is such a friendly master. The way he welcomed into his home, he treated me like a friend, not like a guru and disciple. I really felt so welcomed, received. And I was meditating almost like lakhs of thoughts, not 100,000 thoughts, but lakhs. I thought I want to give up meditation at that moment, but I continued. But after 39th day, my mind became totally zero, completely. Every single thought vanished. The 40th day, it was so empty. Even I want to think something, and nothing is entering into my mind. It's so empty, and I had my certain experiences like vision of a kind of eye opening, one kind of horizontal eye, like an eye which can see. And then I started seeing past lives. I started seeing myself as a shaven, clean shaven head all the time with many other people who has similar kind of faces, round faces with the clean shaven heads. And I got so much bored to seeing all the time these visions, almost for nearly 15 days. Every day these shaven heads used to appear, and I used to see them. I used to see myself in that attire. I used to be standing on the podium, and then all the monks used to be sitting down. I used to teach them. I used to deliver them some kind of teachings, and I got so much bored. No other experience was coming. But after 20th day, I understood that it's reincarnation. When I was in a different body, I had a different kind of physical structure, physical body. And then I was teaching about reincarnation and law of karma in the ancient Takshashila University. I was Buddhist Acharya in that life. So this was completely mind blowing for me because I could not believe about my own experience. And I was suspecting my own, experience as if it's like I thought it's a kind of symptoms like schizophrenia or psychosis. In the medical textbooks, we read about this. Any visual hallucinations, imaginations, it could be the illness, mental illness, schizophrenia. So I was thinking, am I becoming schizophrenic, having these visual hallucinations? Why I'm hallucinating about myself as somebody else. So I shared about my experiences going to Patriji, and he said, "This is all past lives. They are very true." I said, "I don't believe because how can I test? How can I go 2000 years back into ancient Takshashila University? There's no verifiable details available now. Even those ruins also not available now. No such details available whether that Buddhist monk Acharya existed or not. So he said, continue your practice.
So,
At that time,
Newton ji, just for them to relate, I'll show Patriji's photo, Brahmashri,
okay,
just for them, so they will at least get who you're talking about. So, I had this. This is the photo of him, and this was our ashram,
wow,
and his smile is super infectious, and all the time he's playing the flute, and surprisingly, or rather coincidentally, by the way, even I used to smoke prior to SSY, about one packet a day. For
wow,
seven
that's
years
good.
for 7 years I used to smoke, and when I did the SSY class, my teacher Avanish ji, he said, can you drop it for 7 days? It's a 14 days. Can you drop it for 14 days? See if you can. So I had always wanted to. So I said, let's take this challenge, 14 days. What will I not die? I'll see. Let me see. I'll drop it and see. And that was the end of it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, a
End of the
strong
day.
will.
Yeah. It started with willpower, yes, but
Mm,
the Sangha was so beautiful that it helped me to go through the first, exactly like you said, the first 40 days was the most uh, like a vulnerable time, and then that 40 days I got through. Then it gradually, but it took that urge. I always say that urge and the inside thing, it took 7 years for it to disappear, absolutely. But 40 days was very crucial, that I could give it up, and then that would come back once in a month or 2 months. It would, that urge will come, and then I have to be aware and not get into that, and that sort of thing.
yeah,
Very
wonderful
interesting
to
what
know.
you were saying, that the first
Mm,
part which you said, hallucination, which many people do have now also. When we get dreams and we say it is just a dream. So I read one book called Jim Quick, by Jim Quick. He was brain damaged child, and everyone shunned him. That 5-year-old child, he was shunned as a brain damaged person, and today he is one of the greatest speakers, not only speaker, trainers in the world, training about how to remember dreams, how to decipher dreams, and how to make the best of dreams. So on that also we'll have something from you sometime. Yeah.
yeah.
So we are interested
So,
to know more about more of your past life, like one past life you told about you being the monk, and
yeah,
others also
yes.
interested.
Yeah. The second life which emerged at that time, spontaneous recalls that happened is as the most cruelest person, a Roman soldier
Wow.
who chopped the heads. I used to have a very sharp sword, and I was just
Chopping.
cutting the heads of people, just chopping job, and it was such arrogant lifetime I had.
Wow.
And it is so shocking to see as a perpetrator, such a perpetrator I was. And, you know, it shocked me, my system. I generally we think of ourselves as such good people,
Yeah.
but when we see also in our evolutionary journeys, in the soul's journey, we also are were perpetrators, were also negative people. We also had some negative karma that we have done. It is so revealing. It made me to become more non-judgmental towards others, more acceptance towards others, because everyone's journey is so unique. It's evolutionary. If we call ourselves as consciousness, because fundamentally everyone is consciousness. The truth, the law of the universe is law of consciousness. Everything is conscious. There's nothing called, you know, which is a dead matter. Everything is alive. Even science also says that. And we have enough of validations from quantum physics, quantum mechanics about it. There's nothing called dead matter. Everything is alive. So everything is consciousness, and this consciousness has free will. And this free will, out of free will, we have chosen many journeys onto this planet Earth, because this blue planet Earth has interesting these kind of parameters and characteristic features or rules of the game here. So interesting. Like one is duality, polarity, and also the time. Time slows down here on Earth planet. So this dimension, we go through everything in slow motion. So we chosen out of free will to come here to have some adventures here, because if we are basically the consciousness, which is the same consciousness as the source consciousness, the source from where we all have come from, we are having the same attributes as the source. We call it as, omnipotent, omniscient, Sarvatma, or God self, or source self, which means the same, actually, the same attributes we also have, the same kind of um, nature we have. Like one is adventurous nature, playful nature, and same kind of inner knowingness is there within us, all of us. So out of free will, we have chosen this adventure to come onto the planet Earth, even though it is tough adventure. There are rules of the game on the planet Earth. For example, if I have to play soccer game or cricket, I need to stick to the rules of the game. One of the rules of the game on the planet is law of karma. You need to be responsible for your words, thoughts, and deeds. And there are consequences for your thoughts, words, and deeds.
Absolutely.
So that is an absolute law of truth. One of the law of the universe is the law of karma. So law of reincarnation is one absolute law. Another absolute law is law of karma. Whether someone believes it or not, it is such an eternal truth. And one need not believe about gravitational law of gravitation. Everyone knows it. Jumping from top of a building, we know law of gravitation works. We don't fly high into the sky, so we fall down onto the ground. And even the law of karma is such irrefutable law in the universe. And we don't need to believe in it, because it is irrespective of the belief. It is a grand truth.
Absolutely.
So, and we constantly progress. We have forgotten about who we are when we have come from the source out of adventurous nature, free will. We have chosen these adventures. We are playing hide and seek game with our own selves. We've forgotten. The moment we stepped into these flesh bodies, we have forgotten about who we truly are. And we want to remember again who we are. And it takes several lifetimes for that. It's like a classroom. Earth is a school. There are several classrooms, and we go through certain lessons. Finally, to one day we wake up and we remember what we have forgotten. That's where the game ends. And it's the name of the game is hide and seek, and or we can say remembering and forgetting game, forgetting, remembering game. And friends, we constantly progress, whether we put an effort or not. We constantly progress from good and bad. All kinds of experience contributes for the soul's growth. But one faculty of awareness that we all have is we can accelerate or speed up our growth. We can accelerate our evolutionary path, because that capacity, that ability, as humans, we all have it. We can progress in leaps and bounds the moment we uh, decide about it. We practice awareness skills or whatever those skills which can enhance our growth, expand our consciousness. So there is a possibility for everyone to know themselves. We don't need to incarnate thousand incarnations, thousand lifetimes to become a self-realized person. Some they can finish in 10 incarnations also. It's up to, there is a free will, there is a power of choice, power of decision for everyone.
But
And
how much does a Sadguru play a part in this? Now, what you just now said, that
okay,
10 incarnation and thousand, like we have read so much on this aspect. I particular, and I was super fortunate, or many of us are super fortunate to be with our Guruji, Sri Rishi Prabhakarji. So many told me the some Avadutas and Siddhas, they told, or I heard via our teachers, that he himself is a Siddha and he has come here for this purpose. And, like this, of course, that time when I was hearing it, I would, what is he talking about? I would just that way. When I met even Brahma Rishi Patriji, he also, if I remember correctly, he said, I'm going to live till 168 or something, like one particular age. He said 180 or 168. If I don't remember the exact age, you can tell that also. And he was so
yeah,
confident. I'm here till this thing, and from here to here, I'm going to do this.
yeah. Patriji told it's a 2095,
Yeah,
189 years.
189,
He's
right?
going to 189. And Guru's role in the disciple's life is enormous, because without meeting our Sadguru, we will not make any progress.
Absolutely,
For example, two atoms like hydrogen and oxygen, they have to meet. There's a chemical reaction that results into formation of the water, H2O. And it's a guru and sishya, right combination. And when they meet, there is a kind of chemical a reaction which can really can make a disciple to unfold so quickly.
absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
one part of it. But a guru always guides the disciple in chopping the ego of the disciple. The the disciple's ego can come up in so many different ways. There's a gross ego, there is a subtle ego that can come up, spiritual ego that can come. Oh, I have done enough sadhana, I don't need any
Absolutely.
more. But a guru makes a disciple to be humble. With humility is the hallmark of really a true disciple.
No, and the
Without
other way,
that,
like I would say, the guru, his or he or she, that's one of his or her role is to cut the ego. That's it. Hammer and cut it.
yes,
Absolutely. I mean,
because that's the only obstacle in the spiritual path. People get stuck with the ego.
many of us would, so many of us I know who came near Guruji and left him for life. Left him mean because he is not concerned whether what you think about me. He would just tell what it is, what he felt and what it is, and the purpose we could see. So many of us, many came, many left, and few of us, I mean, who stayed by him and all, we would love him so much, but we would fear him also because of that. The ego would get hit every now and then. The ego will get hit.
Yeah, that's very true. And we meet our guru only when a student is ready, when a disciple need to be ready. Otherwise, will never meet him. Even though the guru might be very next door as a neighbor, but we will not recognize that guru. Unless a student is ready, will not recognize the guru, will not be able to receive from the guru. So one need to be so ready. I feel personally that it's a many incarnations journey. A disciple also will be getting ready to receive. Then we really meet our Sadguru at the right moment. And also there are many opportunities that always given by the Guru for every disciple to be awakened, to wake up, to unfold. But many may not really take those opportunities. They may deny those things. They may delay their own growth and awakening process. But those who have that sincerity and trust, and they really can receive very well from the Guru. And I was so fortunate to meet my Guru because he's such an unconventional master. And he said after I went back to him after 40 days of meditation, I told all my experiences to him, and he said, "Now you don't need me. You have your breath is your guru. Go continue practice." And I said, "No, no, I want to be with you for this lifetime, and I want to be associated with you." He said, "Okay, we can share. We can share, keep sharing our experiences." He's such a scientific master. He always encourages all his students to not just superstitiously believe something, but he asked me to question everything. I questioned him. I grilled him. I used to argue with him every time, whenever he says some experience, and I say I don't believe about it. We used to have long conversations. I used to argue with him. And first time in 1991, I conducted one experiment after my own experiences of past life. I felt intuitively that I must conduct this experiment of past life regression, reincarnation experiment on my grandmother because I was sharing my experience with my grandmother. So she said that I'm interested. I would like to see my past life because just like how you've seen, I conducted first time intuitively. I didn't know how to the procedure. I said, close your eyes, and I was instructing her to be watching her breath, making her body so calm and quiet and relaxed, and as if there is an inner knowingness within me. And I was guiding her, giving her instructions. The way I went back into past life, I was giving the same kind of instructions. I was asking her to go back to her childhood. She remembered her forgotten childhood memories, even the cradle memories when she was in the cradle. She started crying because she is all forgotten memories, but very deep, sentimental, emotional memories with her mother came up. All those memories brought so many tears, and she was regressed into the womb memory. As in utero baby, she was narrating how she was kicking the womb wall of the womb, and how she was feeling so happy with the mother chanting some Bhagavad Gita slokas, and my grandmother narrating all that. I asked her to go further back, and she went back to a past life. I thought now she will also cook up a story. I was waiting to hear a story, and instead she was not sharing any glamorous life, but a lifetime where she was a villager, a village woman, and with the two children, and she could remember the names of the has name of the children, names of the family name, and also name of the village. And she told that I was bringing water from the well, and she was 29-year-old, and she was coming back to home in the evening, and she was bitten by a snake. She died out of snake bite. And that moment, it was so painful. It's more than the physical pain, but it's losing the young children. She's going away from the young children. That saddens her heart, and she was crying. And she identified one of the children is now me. I was her second child in that life. I'm born as grandson now, and she could feel that reconnection with me in that moment. And her snake phobia went away after that session, because as children we used to scare her, my grandmother, about mentioning the name of the snake. Also, she used to get panic attacks, and her snake phobia completely gone. And I shared this experience with Patriji. Oh, he felt so happy that about this experiment. He said, he encouraged me, do more. And one of the days where we used to have kind of group meditations, like a Sajjana Sangatya, satsangs, one of the new person meditator who came there that day, he was interested to see his past life. I conducted in the everyone presence, I conducted another experiment. He was a degree student. He knew only Indian languages like Telugu and Hindi and a little bit English. But he was speaking such fluent Russian language when he was regressed into past life memory. In a past life, he was Russian and he was speaking so fluently. And we recorded, we used to have tape recorders at the time, cassette players. So we recorded the whole session and we asked him to write the alphabets. He was in a trance. I given him the pen and the paper, and he was scribbling all the alphabets of that language. And because my scientific mind was blown away listening to the language, I want to confirm from a language expert whether it is true Russian language or a fake language. So one of our seniors in that college where I was studying, Karnool Medical College, so he did his medical studies from Russia, and he was doing house surgency internship in Karnool. So we made him to listen through the whole tape, and also asked him to look at the script that he had written, the alphabets, and he confirmed that it's the Russian language. He could decode that whole thing. And for the first time, I felt that it's an enough evidence of reincarnation, because language skill, we need training, at least few months or any year training to speak a language. For example, I still struggle to speak Hindi language. It's hard for me. Though I learned, I understand. If you speak to me in Hindi, I understand everything.
थोड़ा
But
थोड़ा
for
हिंदी में
me,
बोलो.
thoda thoda, no problem, thoda thoda. But for me, somehow there is a block. I don't know what it is. Maybe in the past life, I was more born in South India or other places, not in North. Maybe there is um, some kind of block in the language, because maybe I was judged for my language
being,
skills.
for being Isaac Newton. He didn't know
Isaac Newton.
Hindi. He
Yeah,
doesn't know
yeah,
Hindi, so you don't know.
yeah, it could be. So uh, that language, ability to speak that language, it made me to open my mind for understanding more about reincarnation. So in 1992 onwards, I thought I will do only this research, reincarnation research. My whole idea is whether whatever Lord Sri Krishna Bhagavad Gita, is it truth, or is it must be completely false? I must know the truth, whether Krishna is a truth, Rama is the truth, or whatever the Upanishads, Vedas, they speak truth or not. I want to know if uh, these people, these masters, these gods were speaking the truth, then this must be the truth. So I was completely dedicated to reincarnation research. I was so crazy. Even I neglected my medical studies at that time. I was so fascinated. Every day I used to spend all night with Patriji. We used to have a pyramid meditation center. The whole night we used to meditate with him.
Wow.
All night, 6 hours, something 8 hours. All night we used to have chai and then share our experiences. After 2 or 3 hours of meditation, share our experience with him, and then all night used to have long conversations. So that time,
I yet remember.
uh,
I remember the conversation we had with him. He's saying, "Life में क्या है? 2 घंटा मेडिटेशन, फिर खाना खाओ, फिर 2 घंटा, 1 घंटा रेस्ट करो, फिर 2 घंटा मेडिटेशन, फिर खाना खाओ, रेस्ट करो, फिर 2 घंटा." विजय ओनली दिस, हाँ हाँ वही करने का और क्या करना है.
exactly, we used to do the same. So one of the exams, ear, nose, throat, ENT exam, I have not studied anything. You know, we have an exam that after meditation, I just had a short nap. Just I have to go to the examination hall, and I had a dream about the question paper, ENT exam. Two essay questions, four short notes, whatever is going to appear, it came in my dream. And I woke up and I studied exactly those questions. 2 hours preparation. I had distinction marks in
Wow.
ENT exam. So the paper was leaked by my guides, and it's a kind of astral hell. These are all, I say, some of these experience, how we get such kind of help from our guides. And I never failed in any exam, even though I was sincerely meditating and I was completely absorbed into only the spiritual studies. I used to read so many books. Avid reader of the books, all the Western, literature, like spiritual literature that was published, New Age masters like Raymond Moody and Dr. Brian Weiss and all those masters like Seth, Jane Roberts, Seth Channeling, and
Yes, yes.
Carlos Castaneda, and the thousands of such New Age masters, and also the Eastern literature, like from Taoism to Zen philosophy to the Indian masters, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Paramahamsa Yogananda ji. So
So
every day Svadhyaya, every day meditation, and
curious to know, you yet avid reader right now also?
even right now, I am very passionate about reading. I
Even
love reading
these
books.
set books, I was told, was read by I think Esther Hicks, Esther and Jerry Hicks. They read and
Yes,
they got inspired, and she Esther Hicks gets all this. I mean, when she speaks,
channeling,
yeah, channeling. I mean, she doesn't speak; it just comes from, you know.
correct.
We
Yeah.
have one more person, Master Jennifer, with us. She also does
Mm.
this. It just comes through her. When she speaks, you can make out that it's not her speaking; it is someone else's. The channeling.
Yeah.
So, what do you have to
Yes.
say about that channeling?
Channeling is the beautiful way of receiving the knowledge,
Hmm.
wisdom from the other dimensions that existing. Because physical dimension has less accessibility to that information. But there are many sources of wisdom in the higher planes of consciousness. So these channels, who are the pure mediums, pure channels, they can really allow that greater source to speak through them, guides or source to speak to them.
And what do you say about this? The astral planes. I mean, different. Uh, uh, the astral body, the casual body, and the gross body, of course, we can see, but the astral planets or the astral spaces and the astral people, on that, if you can just throw
Yes,
some light.
yes.
Huh? So, what we'll do
Yeah,
is,
yeah, there are.
yeah, this question is from my side.
So whether astral plane exists, whether astral beings exist. What is this astral plane other than what we see with our physical eyes and perceive through five senses? So, unless someone has some kind of experience, it's hard to believe. I must share my one of my experiences I had in meditation. One time, I came out of my body and I was floating above, and I thought, I will now do an experiment because meditation is really an experiment with our consciousness. That's what I feel. And I came out of my room through the wall. Nothing could stop me. And I thought I'll go to my friend's room and check what he's doing at the time. And I went into his room. We used to stay in a hostel and walked through the corridor, went to his room, and without his permission, I just gone inside and into the room, and I saw what he was doing. He was drawing the picture of a tree with a green sketch pen. I saw him holding that sketch pen, and he was wearing the dress code. I saw clearly that, and I came back into my body. I uh, questioned myself. If it is true, then I believe about out of body experience, this astral travel. Otherwise, it's all humbug.
Mm.
I don't believe about it.
Mm.
So this made me to that day realize that it's all true because I went and knocked on his door. He's my classmate. He's an orthopedician now. His name is Mastan Basha, and I asked him what you're doing, and he showed the picture of the tree that he was sketching with a green sketch pen, and he's wearing a lungi and a t-shirt, whatever the dress code I saw, exactly matching.
Wow.
That day, it really convinced me that out of body experience is very real. And I used to go out of my body to visit my mother, who used to live in my hometown. So I used to go to her, visit her because I used to feel homesick. So for me, it was so real. I met some of these astral beings, unbelievable, but I had those experiences meeting some of the guides, and some of these guides really testing me also. One is Parshurama. I had an encounter with Lord Parshurama. So, like with an axe, we all know that master, but one time I had this experience with him in my astral journey, and also I had a darshan of Lord Sri Krishna. That too is the most
Wow.
like even now when I say about talk about it, my hairs stand up and my whole body feels electrifying. That charge I feel the electrical charge because it's a almost 6 hours experience I had. It's like a higher dimensional state. He pushed me into my next evolutionary state. So I saw, like not like in a Krishna, like in a picture form, like what we have conventional pictures, but in a kind of body of a yogishwara, like a yogi who is sitting in a deep meditation, in a deep silence, in a triangular cave, a pyramidal cave. I was waiting. He was testing me. I waited for him almost 3 hours. He made me to wait in meditation. I was
Wow.
seeing him. In front of him, I was standing there. I was just waiting when he is going to open his eyes. I want to ask him what his instructions to me. And then after 3 hours, he opened his eyes and he showed me my Akashic records, like 80 past lives. He just lived me through all the lifetimes. He said, "You wasted all these lifetimes,
Wow.
such a waste lives, and these are the significant lives. These are
Uh,
the life you made such a difference."
uh,
And he showed some of the spiritual lives. He said, "This lifetime, not to miss any opportunity. You meant to serve. You meant to do something very important task." This happened in 1993. experiences in 1993. He told me that time you have to travel around the globe. That time, no clue because I never went out of even our state, not to any other state, also in India. So now I could move to, along with Lakshmi, 120 countries. We could travel around the globe.
Wow.
And, whatever that Lord Shri Krishna that day instructed me, showed me the big picture. It's a kind of nearly 6 hours, more than 6 hours experience
Wow.
in his bluish body. And I recognized at the end, I recognized him that he was Lord Shri Krishna. He showed how the filamental fibers, elemental fibers, like energetic fibers, connect the whole universe, how we're all connected as one being. And that was for me such an awakening experience.
Wow.
And there are astral beings. Sometimes I used to test them. Initially, my mind is so linear and very, very scientific, like theistic. I never used to believe such experiences. And I used to always test them, all these astral beings.
Hmm.
If you are real, please show me the evidence. I have to have the physical evidence for that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So initially, they provided me all the evidences so that my mind could be more opened. So I went through all
Wow.
these phases.
Wow.
So particularly past life experiences were so fabulous, and particularly found so many people speaking the languages, different languages. And also when they go into the past lives and in between lives, after their death, they go into those spiritual realms. It's like almost like equivalent to a different dimensional experience. Some people, they even have these conversations with their spiritual guides. That's also most fabulous experience. Sometimes I also receive messages from the spiritual guides, from the clients, from the subjects who are going through these past life regression sessions. So incredible experiences. I always get fascinated. My heart opens and my consciousness expands every time I learn so much, because I don't need to reincarnate to learn the lessons. I can learn from others.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a learning experience for me.